This is the Psychotherapy Counseling Guide for Chaos Zero Nightmare. When you do your therapy sessions, you'll get different amounts of affinity based on the stability level. It's +5 for the 70s, +10 for the 80s, and then +15 for 90s and 100%. This is something that only depends on the stability level actually, because when you finish your session, you'll also see text that says like their condition has improved not much, improved slightly, just normal improved, or improved a lot. That's completely flavor text, it doesn't matter at all. Yuki has a kind of interesting thing where for some reason hers is just completely different from every other character. I don't know if that's like a translation issue or if that's supposed to be an actual thing where her text is different. I think I haven't actually mentioned that to anybody, so I should probably tell them about that. Besides that, the research facility gives you an additional 10 affinity once you max it out, so it would be 15, 20, 25. If you're looking to maximize your affinity when you do your counseling, then you can check this out, or if you just want to look at all the different options that every character has. For navigating it, there's everything down here, but there are a lot of characters. This will only get larger, so we also have this section here sorted by 5 stars and 4 stars, and then alphabetically within their rarity. It's alphabetically down here as well. You can click on the link, any character name, and you'll be able to jump to the character. We can click here, we'll jump. And then here you can see there's a link back to the homepage, so you don't have to ever scroll. You can just click on the links. And then this is the 3 different options for the characters in order when you see it in game. Like if you check where you can get the stars, it's 1, 2, 3. Same thing here in order. You also see the first line for the character, just so you can tell which one you're in. Just missing a period at the end. And then each character within the therapy session has 4 different options. It's RNG which one you get. You'll get 2 of the 4. And then once you pick one, you'll be able to pick 2. So pretty much, for example, for Haru, if you see Reassure and Shock, you'd want to go for Reassure, because this is the one that guarantees that you'll get the best possible option. Because once you pick the option, you only have 2 choices, so you would just pick Comfort, and you would get 90%. Now, it's not guaranteed that you always have a green option, green being the best, yellow is mid, and then red is the worst one. Like, if you hit Empathize plus Redirect, kinda sucks you're going to have a yellow option. It's only 5 affinity though, so not really a huge deal. You just pick whichever, and then just pick the higher option. The first options are sorted alphabetically, because it kind of doesn't really matter. The second ones are sorted higher option on top. Unless it's, like, if they're within the same tier, there were a couple of cases where it just looked better formatting-wise if I flipped it, so I did do that. And then, besides that, some characters have typos in their therapy sessions, which I did leave in, just because I thought it would be kind of funny. If you notice that they fixed it, like, in-game, then let me know, send a screenshot or something, and I'll update it. Like this one, it says Teresa is no longer in danger. So just stuff like that, pretty much. And then, that's pretty much it, honestly. I'll be updating this, of course, as more characters come out, like Chizuru, and then Serenial over here. Eventually, it'll take me like a little bit to get them in, but I'll be updating this for every single character as they come out. And then since I went over every single therapy option, I'm just going to mention some of the more interesting or funnier ones that happened while I was doing them. The thing about the therapy sessions is that for the most part, like, when you go, like, when you pick your first option, you're going to get a certain amount of stability. Usually if you see 35, you're kind of screwed, and you would expect to see like 80, 70, and usually if you see 50, you're more or less in the clear. You're getting at worst a yellow option. Keiron is kind of the exception to that, because he has a couple of options here where Suggest, this one, it ends in 80 and 70. This actually starts at 50. You pick Suggest, it goes up 50%, and then if you pick Provocation, you only gain 20, so you get 70%. This is the lowest gain out of every single character, from what I remember. There's nobody else who has this drastic of like a mess up on your end. And he also has another one here, Pressure into Doubt. makes it go from 35% to 100%. Someone else does have this big jump here, but this is one of the more interesting ones. Also, you'll notice that like not every character has the same sort of, I don't know what the word is, but some characters have a lot more things going on. Like Renoa is the hardest one, I would say. Out of her 4 options, only one of them gives you a green option for 2 of her therapy sessions, and then her third one still only gives you 2. This, like, she's going to give you the worst results overall in terms of like your affinity gain, just because she has so much baggage. There's another issue I had with Renoa, which we'll talk about later. Mika, on the other hand, is the easiest one. Like, this one is 3, this one is 3, and this one is 4. So she is easily the character that gives you like the best shot of, I mean, you're guaranteed no matter what. No matter what happens, you'll always get max affinity on Mika. Orlia is an interesting one just because 2 of her therapy options have the same first line. She's the only character where I had to add a second line for them. And this is actually not her second one, this is her third one. I swapped their spots just because I figured it would be better if you could see the 2 ones with the same first line next to each other. So yeah, that was one interesting thing for her. Besides that, some of the funny ones... Okay, this one's not funny, but... in this one, if you pick Reproachment into Criticize, it's literally just you telling her that she's doing bad and she's not good enough. She starts crying after this, and the therapy session ends. The writer is, why would you do this? It's literally just you bullying Beryl until she cries, and then the therapy session ends, and there is obviously no improvement after that. Besides that, Cassius, so the shock therapy is a term that a lot of people have sort of keyed in on as being a funny term, which for the most part, shock therapy is just saying like you're introducing them to sort of a strong stimulus that they're not expecting. You actually shock Cassius because he's got his like robot thing. You do shock him, and I just thought it was funny that we actually have a therapy session where you shock them. Besides that, Hugo had a funny one where I think it's this one. If you hand him a dog chew, he just attacks you, and it ends with Maria pulling you out of the room, just barely, pretty much. Besides that, he's pretty easy to handle, to be honest. Like, you're guaranteed, he's another character where you're guaranteed the best result no matter what, because 3, 3, 3. So no matter what happens, you can get max affinity on him. It's just funny that he attacks you in one of them. Lucas had a really funny one where if you try to support him and you opt to bring in Beryl, this is where you find out why Beryl's not the one handling the therapy sessions for her platoon and it has to be you. Because you bring in Beryl, she's just kind of like, Lucas is acting like, what? And then she just runs in and swings her railgun at him. Definitely not how you should probably handle therapy sessions, but what is it? Your other result is like not that much better. It's within the same tier, but it is higher, so this is why we don't exactly have Beryl doing her own therapy for her group. Felipe had one where this one you sacrifice your arm to her, and you can either tell her to stop after she bites your arm a bit, or you can just say, yeah, keep on biting it, and then you kind of require medical attention afterwards. Who else had some funny ones? Maylin had a funny one. I mentioned Mika had one that was like 4. Maylin's the only other character that has a therapy option that gives you 4. Like, no matter what, you have a chance to get the best result. This one's the funny one though, so you give her a comfort doll. This is the one where she's sort of going through her affection deficiency. This one starts out at 35, so this ties Kayron with the really big jump from 35 to 100. You give her the doll and she's like, oh, I kind of don't really want the doll, I'd rather have a hug. And if you hug her, then you go to 100%. If you don't, the way they wrote this is they say, the doll simulates human warmth, so there's really no need for anybody to hold her, and you just pat her on the head, and it obviously is not a very good result. It's just the way they wrote that is very funny, because what do you mean the doll simulates human warmth? And then I think I talked about Renoa already. Oh no, this was the one where I said I would talk about it later. So I don't like this one. This is the one therapy session that I felt like was not good. I thought every other one for every other character was fine. So the problem here is that in this one, she's sort of in a delusion that she's like the only survivor from her battle, which if you've done her trauma code, you'll know why this is a significant thing. Like, this is pretty much her trauma. You have two options. So if you pick Recall, you have two options. You either show her the current agents from the SS Nightmare, so Ray, Mika, Owen, Tressa. This is the worst of the two choices, because when you do this, she's still sort of stuck in battle mode, so she just tries to run off and save them. But the problem for me is that I don't agree with having the show agent from her past missions be the better option, because when you do this, all that really happens is she just kind of, she's like, oh no, like, they can't be alive, I was the one who killed them, and she just kind of starts repeatedly apologizing to them for having killed them. I don't know if forcing her to relive her past traumas is a good option either, but whatever. I actually think that this would be kind of nice where, spoilers for Renoa's trauma code, once you do her full trauma code, you do end up with the route where you find out that, like, she didn't really kill her past comrades in the way that she thought she did. It'd be kind of nice if this, like, updated after you finished it. And then Salina had a unique one here, where the only thing significant here is that it's double 100%. There's a lot of double options for some characters, but this one is the only one that's double 100%. Not that it really matters, because 95, 90, and 100 are all the same. I just thought it was interesting. Yuki has two funny ones. And this one some people have seen. The Shock put something in her mouth. The something is a raw onion. And then she's kind of like, why did you put a raw onion in my mouth? You take the onion out of her mouth, and then you just, eat is not the right word, you just start licking the onion. The mental imagery of just doing that to me is really, really funny. This is maybe my favorite text in the game for therapy options. And this one is also kind of funny, just because this one she's hallucinating, and she thinks that you're not real, pretty much, so you have to convince her that you're real. And to convince that, you start saying things that only you would know, including her deepest, darkest secrets. And at some point you say something that probably should not be said, and she starts beating you up. So I do think overall that these therapy sessions were honestly pretty well written. It was fun going through all of them. We'll see what the future characters are, and if you want to try and get the most affinity out of your therapy sessions, then you can check out this spreadsheet.